super classic winery built right after Prohibition that was modernized and sort of reimagined. It just reopened last year in March of 2019. And they added a few little modern features like 30-foot high glass ceilings that peer right into the barrel room. This beautiful park was totally reimagined, and of course, a lot of the spaces have been redone to make them a little bit more hospitable and better for wine tasting. But one of my absolute favorite features of this place, and why I think you guys should totally consider visiting, is they have an amazing outdoor experience. They have everything from picnic tables to, wait for it, cabanas. Yes, cabanas. You can have your group, your family, your friends, whoever come and rent out a cabana for a few hours, sit down, do some wine tasting, and I'm going to show you that a little later. But in the meantime, I'm sure many of you are wondering whether or not it's actually a good time to come wine tasting in Napa Valley. And what I want to say is absolutely. The wineries are taking all of the precautions. They're all adhering to the rules. Everything that I've seen so far has been top-notch, and they are putting your safety first. There's, of course, hand sanitizer stationed all over the place. The doors are all open, so you don't have to touch anything. And, of course, all of the hospitality professionals are going to be wearing masks, and guests are asked to wear a mask when they're not seated for tasting. So we're going to take you through some of the experiences that they have to offer. Of course, taste some wine, and Michael Eddy will be on hand. He's a winemaker here. He's going to talk about some of the wines that they make here, and they also do a culinary experience. So this place has so much to offer. I'm really excited to show you, and without any further ado, let's go on a tour of Blue Martini. Come on. Amazing is this? So we just got to the cabana. I'm going to do a little tasting with Michael Eddy in just a second. He's the head winemaker here. I love him. I've talked to him before. He's been on Sunday school. So he's going to take me through the wines, and then I'm going to slip out of here and do a little food and wine pairing that Chef Jeffrey Russell has prepared. Before I do any of that, I just wanted to give you a little overview of the properties. So we are outside right now. The winery is behind me. Outside right here is this cabana area. These are going to be cabanas just like you would rent at the beach or at a club or in Vegas. Then also, if you don't want to do the cabana, they also have this beautiful park where you can do some experiences there as well. Taste wine?
Sounds good.
Yeah, what do we have?
All right, starting on the left here, we have our Monte Rosso Cab Franc from 2017.
Oh yeah? All Cab Franc?
Yes.
That's fun.
All Cab Franc.
It's really, really beautiful. I love Cabernet Franc. I'm seeing more and more winemakers who are embracing it as a single variety instead of a blending grape, and I think it's great. Tasty.
It's fun when it's on a good site.
Yeah.
And when it's not, it can be not so much fun. So next we have our Meritage, our 2016 Meritage.
It smells totally different.
Right, yeah. So this is Napa Valley, so again, back over on this side of the hill. And this is just over half Merlot, 40-something Cab, and a little bit of Franc. The Cab that goes into this is oftentimes kind of the kickouts from Lot 1. So we'll get to Lot 1, which is our flagship Napa Cab. But the wines that get kicked out of there are still pretty damn good Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the foundation for the Meritage.
It's floral and it's savory. It's got like a little bit of herbaceousness to it. It's very multidimensional.
Yeah, so the Merlot that's in here is from two locations that are quite different. Some right down near the town of Napa, kind of in the hills just above the Silverado Trail.
Yeah. And
then some from Pope Valley, the Cypress Ranch. And so those are very, very different sites.
Yeah. I see Cypress Ranch. Is that next?
That is Cypress, yeah.
It's big.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Dark.
I usually describe wine berry-wise or fruit-wise, as red to dark. Mm-hmm. And there's what I call intermediate fruit, which to me is kind of a boysenberry.
Okay.
And to me, I get that boysenberry, ripe, not jammy quite, but very ripe boysenberry, juicy. It's definitely got some herbal undertones, almost medicinal herbal undertones.
You say herbal, it reminds me of like a Fernet Branca.
Right.
That sort of herbaceousness, not necessarily like, I think people think of like green bell pepper with herbaceousness too, but this is more like a bitter root isn't necessarily the right word for it, but like sort of that medicinal Fernet Branca.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean by medicinal. Exactly like that. Next is our Lot 1. So this is 2016 Lot 1. It is really about finding the best sites across Napa Valley from the different AVAs, both mountain sites as well as valley floor sites, and using them to create something that demonstrates the power, the depth, the richness, intensity of Cabernet Sauvignon, but also has a measure of elegance to it.
Yeah. And this was the one, I forget what vintage, but this was 100.1, right?
The Wine Advocate gave that 2013, which was a I think the best vintage I've ever worked with in my career.
It's so refined. Like, you know, it has so much structure and so much depth, but there is something very, very elegant and sleek about it.
Yeah, and a lot of that's from the micro winery, our ability to gravity feed into fermenters and really manage extraction with great detail.
All right, we have one wine left.
Yes, so...
Can we save the best for last?
Well, I don't know about the best, but favorite. This is our Monte Rosso Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon. I think it's probably the most layered and complex Cabernet that we make, particularly with age. So we talk about two things at Monte Rosso. One's Monte Rosso spice, which some people see in the cab. I see it more in the Zinfandel, the gnarly vines. There's also this earth tone, and it's a mineral. So the soils are very iron rich, and I'm not saying it's cause and effect, but the Cabernet seems to develop this iron-like, cast iron type.
It feels very like red soil, like that red earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, thank you. This is very informative and always fun to taste with you.
Yeah, you too. It's good to see you.
I know you have like actual winemaking to get to, so I'll just be here in the cabana if you need me.
Okay, yeah, you do the tough work, and I'll go work on the computer.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Those 5 wines that I just had with him, I'm going to actually have them also in the park area with the food and wine pairings. So let's mosey on over, shall we?
Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. Yes, look at that.
On the top left, we have the ratatouille tart with pecorino cheese and a little fresh rosemary. The country pate with some pistachios, and then we top that with a charred pepperade. A Napa Valley Cabernet infused salami over a fig mostarda. A house cured lomo with some Point Reyes Bay Blue cheese over an olive relish. And then on the bottom right is coconut macaroons with a little dark chocolate that we infused with some chili powder.
One of my absolute favorites of those pairings was the country pate. Now, I will preface it by saying I am a sucker for a good country pate. It is one of my favorite foods on the planet, and I love how it pairs with wine because you get so many different things in there. You get your nuts, you get your meat. There's something a little bit rich about it. There's something a little bit salty, and I just love how wine just complements that. And with all the things that were going on in that country pate, to pair it with the Meritage, the blend, which also had so many different things, it was like flavor explosion in your mouth. I loved it. I thought it was a perfect pairing. Bravo, Michael Eddy on the wine. Bravo, chef on the food. Together, it was a perfect experience in the mouth.
So I want to answer some questions that I'm sure are on your mind about what is happening related to some of the precautions taken as a result of COVID. So a few things to consider. One, of course, is face coverings. So as you saw me walk in, you got to put the face covering in to walk into the winery. Once you're seated and you're doing your wine tasting, you can go ahead and take it off, but the hospitality people will continue wearing it. They're wearing gloves, they're wearing masks, following industry-leading guidelines set by the Wine Institute as well as the state of California. This pertains to safety practices, cleaning practices, and of course service practices. They've also reduced their capacity and increased time between appointments. And while you won't be able to pull up and just settle up to the bar, what you do get is this beautiful park where you can sit down and enjoy the wine out in this gorgeous weather that we have here in Napa Valley.
Whether you are one person or a group of people, if you are visiting the Napa Valley, I really hope you'll put Blue Martini on your list. I think this is just an amazing place to come visit. It's filled with history, filled with heritage, and of course, just amazing experiences that you can have right now. Don't forget to bring your mask and be prepared for a lot of wine. Spitting is always okay, and don't try to cram too much in one day, especially if you've got this amazing cabana experience. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Always a pleasure, and if you have any questions, throw them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer them.